para malinaw, sinasabi ninyo na may mga issues na nakakadistract dito sa totoong usapin ng Pax Silica. Pwede ba natin unahin yung mga yun, sir?
Sige, unahin natin. Maybe para sa mga nanonood, yung Pax Silica na yan is still quite in early stages. Pinag-uusapan pa lang yan. Although I was personally actually surprised na ang dami ng chatter about it. More than the usual. Diba? Marami naman mga foreign investment plans, pero ito ang ingay-ingay. And I think part of what I wanted to discuss is, ano ba yung mga, I would say, conspiracy theories or mga stuff that's not grounded in facts. I think the first thing that we can knock out is parang ang daming nag-iisip na Pax Silica is all about data centers. Actually, I've done computer hardware in the past. Mga data center, maingay yan. You know, a server, parang eroplano yung tunog niyan eh. It's also very heavy on power and water. But the first thing we need to think about is Pax Silica is not just data centers. It's an entire supply chain. Kasama din dyan yung minerals. Actually, it's another misconception that we have to talk about. Fabrication, production, and logistics. So it's end-to-end. It's not just data centers. No? And then let's talk about the minerals front. I think maraming ano dyan, especially from the environmental groups, this could be abused daw to extract raw material from the Philippines. Pero iisipin lang natin, actually if you step back, even if you're not into mining at all, no, yung mga minerals na kailangan mo for semiconductors, hindi yan yung mga minerals kung saan tayo malakas. I mean, to be very specific, we're quite strong in cobalt and quite strong in nickel. Actually, that's for batteries, which is important, pero that's not the entirety of Pax Silica. Kung gagawa ka ng mga semiconductors and chips, you need metals like gold, copper, tungsten, ganyan. And of course, silicon and quartz. We're not really a player in that space. So kung iisipin mo...
Sabi number 3 daw tayo.
Well, yung nickel and cobalt, doon tayo top. And we're also a big supplier to China. Pero yung actual fabrication of chips at semiconductor grade, malamang ang material na yan manggagaling sa labas. And then if this thing will push through, it will be processed here. And that's a totally different thing from what we were doing in the past. Meron naman tayong semiconductor industry talaga, but it's mostly assembly, no? Assembly. So yun, on the first part, the data center, the second part, the minerals.
Extraction.
We have to clarify ano ba talaga yung totoo. And then the third, syempre lalabas na yung mga geopolitical questions. Na baka ito raw yung war production hub ng US versus China. And I think there, again, this is all in speculative territory. Isipin mo kahit anong technology naman will have a dual use. It can be for military, it can be for civilian use. And dyan dapat papasok yung, I would say, industrial policy natin. Hindi naman tayo basta sunod-sunuran lang dapat. Those are, I feel, medyo distracting. Kasi ang sarap pag-usapan eh, lalo na, actually I was on this show a couple of weeks ago, pinag-usapan namin yung FIMI, with Regina. FIMI is Foreign Information Manipulation and Interference. Kwento ko nga sa kanina, I just posted a question a couple of days ago. Ilang jobs ba talaga ang Pax Silica? Within 24 hours, kinuyog na ako on both sides. May pro-China, may pro-US, and some people there. So it seems to be hitting a hot button. But I feel it's too much into the speculative conspiracy domain, whereas we have actual real issues na talaga dapat tinatakil natin.
May pangamba na mukhang wala yata or, of course, ang speculation na iba, wala yata mangyayaring transfer of technology. Kaya ang mabibigay daw na trabaho sa atin ay yung mga hindi high quality jobs.
Right.
Mas mga janitorial, mga service, mga ganun daw.
Well, kasama yun, of course. No? It's an entire industrial zone. Pero maybe we can liken it to, for example, how the BPO started.
Yeah.
Kahit naman nung BPOs nung time na yun, everyone was worried na hanggang telephone operator ka lang, hanggang contact center ka lang. And there's a lot of those. But even now, ilang dekada na ba yung BPOs, we're having, yung term nila is called GCC, Global Capability Center, where they're already doing innovation on behalf of their mother companies. And dati, transactional lang yung pinapadala sa Philippines. Ngayon, entire departments, an entire finance department, an entire back office department is being sent. Yung analogy niyan in semiconductors is, right now we're only into assembly, but later we will, in theory, because of Pax Silica, be also into manufacturing, fabrication, and logistics.
Saan nanggagaling yung, of course, binibenta sa atin ng gobyerno, saan nanggagaling yung parang bright shining optimism ng mga tao sa gobyerno?
I think by default, I mean, if I were in their shoes, you always want to be optimistic. And then let's also think about our GDP, growth has been declining. Kailangan mo talaga ng new adrenaline into the system. And if we're talking about, let's say, a Pax Silica hub, ang daming estimates Let's say the conservative estimate is maybe $50 billion. May tax revenues na papasok dyan, may jobs na papasok dyan. These are essentially the things that government should really be doing. I think even ako, I'll be on the skeptical side, is may industrial policy na ba tayo to cover that? Do we have leverage in negotiations? And I think that's part of their job. No? Let's make sure that hindi lang maximize the benefits, minimize the risk.